All right. Well, it's been a year, apparently, since the last video I uploaded, according to YouTube anyway. A lot has happened in a year. Man, I don't even really know where to begin. I went to Legoland for vacation around October last year and proposed. So, we're engaged, and that's always fun. Had a really great time with the kids there. They had a blast. And then I come back from that, and I start getting this yellow tint to my eyes that gradually grows to my skin, and long story short, I end up looking like a minion from, Despicable Me? And every doctor I went to acted like I had a cold. They're just like, oh yeah, okay, well, we'll run some blood work and see what it is, and we'll go from there once we get the results back. And I can go into more of that story later, but long story short, I ended up being diagnosed with acute autoimmune hepatitis. And that's just a fancy way of saying that my liver was being attacked by my body and thusly slowly killing me. But we got the right meds. Once we figured out what it was night and day. They got the right meds from the diagnosis, and I've been on the mend ever since. I'm back to my normal pasty white self. Well, I guess I can't really say I'm pasty white. In January, I finally really started my business. I'd set everything up in September and had been buying pieces like a trailer and a pressure washer and just, little knickknacks along the way. And just decided to pull the trigger, took out a loan, bought the rest of everything that I needed so I could start the business. And it's a slow burn. If anybody's ever started a business, I guess unless you get lucky or just have the right connections, it just is a slow burn. I understand why they say most businesses fail. I don't know if people just jump into it with both feet and hang on until it bleeds them dry, or maybe they just pick a bad business model. I have no idea, but it's definitely a slow burn. I'm glad that I still have my full-time job, although it is miserable to do it. I have a pretty easy job as a truck driver. It's always the idiots in the office that make it hard. But, that's just with any job at any place. You're always going to have your headaches. But I started a pressure washing company for houses and businesses, and I also threw on mobile detailing because I do enjoy cleaning cars. But what I've found is that the money return on cleaning cars just isn't really there. I have a hard time paying or charging a higher price to make it worth my time. Although I feel like I do great work, I just don't know that people would want to pay what I feel like my time is worth. So I'm teetering on pulling that part of my business away, or just putting the higher price on there, and if somebody wants to pay it, then I'll gladly do the best job I can on detailing their car. But yeah, I don't know. Tough calls. But yeah, I wash houses and roofs and decks and brick, concrete, the apartment breezeways and buildings and pool decks, you know what I mean? There's really not too much out there that I can't clean. And I plan on trying to expand and really figure out whatever it takes to pick up momentum. I don't want to spread myself too thin, but I want to offer enough services that I can get phone calls to keep me busy, hopefully year round, because pressure washing seems to be like a spring, summer thing, maybe a little bit in the fall, but after that, nobody cares what their house looks like in the winter. It's full of snow or rain or whatever's going on, that people just don't seem to care what it looks like. But spring, summer seems to be the popular busy season. and there are more months in the year than just spring, summer. So I got to make sure that I'm desirable for other things, other cleaning services throughout the year. My father passed away a little bit ago, and his birthday was the other day, so that was a fun time. His birthday doesn't really affect me in the same way. I mean, it's like a day for him to celebrate him when he was alive, but he's no longer alive. So, like, I don't know, maybe I'm broken. Birthdays don't really get me down that much. It could also be because I have a terrible memory. Like, I forget my own birthday sometimes. So there's that. I think I just remember them daily. You know, it might not literally be every day, but for sure throughout the week I think of him and my brother. They didn't die at the same time or anything like that. My dad died from a heart attack, and my brother several years ago due to overdose. And just different things about their personalities and their characters, and like music taste or sports interest, or just the littlest things. You never really know where it comes from or what'll trigger it, but it's the littlest things that really cause me to think about them and get emotional. Or I'll be in the truck because I worked night shift, and my dad used to call me at night before he'd go to bed, or if he was driving over the road at night, because he too was a truck driver, and we would just chat. Or he'd tell me corny dad jokes or cheesy trucker jokes that he heard at a truck stop or something, and you know, that was just a fun pastime for both of us, to keep him awake while he was driving down the road, or just to talk to his son, because I know what that's like. The more that my son learns to talk and speak, you kind of look forward to hearing what he's got to say, whatever crazy thing he's going to talk about next. I wish my dad was around to give me advice on this business, although I feel like in my heart I know what his advice would be, but he still had some really crazy ideas. Not like in a bad way, just stuff I never thought of, because he has a fresh perspective. He's on the outside looking in, not in the trenches trying to figure out how to cover fire and keep making progress. So I just wish I had that type of experience in overhead, because he was a very street smart guy. He was very savvy and knew how to do sales. And that's the biggest part of any business. If you don't have anybody calling you, if you're not making any sales, you're not making any money. So I could be the most expensive guy on the block or the cheapest guy on the block, and it won't matter if nobody's calling. So I miss him for a lot of variety of reasons, none the least of which is he's just my dad. But I don't know how my brother had dealt with it. My mom was pretty tore up about it. You know, in the traditional family sense, like blood relatives, we're not all that close. I know that when I was younger, I always wanted everybody to be close. Like, there were cheesy birthday, Christmas wishes that, I don't want any toys or gifts or anything like that. I just want all my brothers here. And naturally that never happened, because they're all like half brothers, and so they would be with the other parent, whether it was their mom or dad. Because I'm the only child my mom and dad had together, but they each had 2 kids on their own. And so I never really got close to them. They were close to their brothers because they were born basically a year apart. Both brothers on both parents were born within like a year or 2 of each other, so it's crazy that happened. So anyway, they were all basically best friends, it seemed, and then life gets in the way. You get married and you have kids and all that jazz. So, but none of us really talk. None of us are very close. I've got friends that I've made along the way through life that I consider family, and we talk daily, if not every other day. I mean, we're always in each other's lives, making sure that things are going good, or just checking in. How's, maybe somebody's been sick, or somebody moved, or, just whatever's going on. We just stay in touch and talk and share music, movies. We used to play Dungeons and Dragons together. I've since moved. This was all back in Florida. I've since moved away from Florida. I'm in Virginia now, so Dungeons and Dragons had to go, unfortunately. I miss that a lot. I mean, I miss hanging out with them a lot in general, so it's really good that we are all pretty talkative and communicative online. Man, a whole year. What else has happened? That's really about it for major milestone stuff. I mean, my kids got older. My girl got older. I turned 34. I bought the work truck instead of the Subaru. I have to go back in the videos and look at what car I had. I know that so I had a red base Impreza, and then life worked out and I was able to get a blue WRX, and then I really wanted to sink as much as I could and make sure that my business was successful, so I traded in the WRX and got this truck. I missed the car. It was fun, but I'll always be able to get toys in theory, if my business is successful. If not this one, the next one, whatever, but hopefully I'll make enough money that I can get the toys later. That I just needed to make the sacrifice. I was using my dad's Expedition, and I still use it primarily for my business, but I got the truck with 4-wheel drive. That way, in case I went to somebody's yard or had to pull off on the shoulder or what have you, I knew that I could get out if it was like a rainy day or anything like that. I haven't really needed to use it yet, so it seems like a wasted idea, but I also do have to give my Expedition back, my dad's Expedition back to my brother. He was the original owner after my dad passed. Anyway, more words than it's really worth, but we kind of agreed on a time frame to try and get my business going, and so I've been saving the mileage and the wear and tear on this and making sure that the Expedition got used. But he wants it back eventually, and so I need to make sure that happens. And obviously I couldn't pull the trailer with my WRX, so having the truck, even though I'm not using it primarily for work, will be a great advantage once I give him back the Expedition. And even to that extent, when I go to do jobs, I think about my dad and kind of, in a way, feel like I have him with me because I'm in his old Expedition. And so that's nice. He gives me a lot of inspiration and motivation, just thinking about his life and all his struggles that he went through, just making bad decisions or being at the wrong place at the wrong time, and had to struggle a lot. So I think about that and use it to keep pushing me through on the tough times, tough days, whenever I'm not getting the phone calls to make jobs happen. I know it doesn't happen overnight. I know it won't happen within a month, but I definitely was hoping for some faster traction than what I've got. But I'm not giving up. I'm not really down and out about it. It just, you have expectations and then reality hits you in the face. I could probably do a whole another video just on like starting a business or what it takes to start a business, or I don't even know. I'm sure I could do a whole different long-winded topic rant on that. I'm driving out to work, and there's no assigned trucks at my job site, and so you first come, first serve. But we have 2 lead supervisors sometimes that work on the same night. I, again, don't need to go into too many details on that because it doesn't make sense either. And anyway, the leads get to show up an hour early. So even if I wanted to get the desired truck that I typically get, I can't if the lead decides to drive it that night. Most of us understand which truck each other's like and don't get in there even if they're not there yet. If we know that they're working that shift, we will avoid the truck so that they can have the truck they like when they get in. it's the little things. You learn how it drives, you learn its quirks, what works and what doesn't work in it, because no truck is perfect. And, you know, so I have my truck, I have my preference, and everybody knew it, everybody was cool with it. And then one day I come in and one of the leads has decided that it's now his truck. And bit my head off, was acting, you know, saying that I act like I'm the only one that's allowed to drive it. You know, fair point. I know that we don't have assigned trucks, but we all generally understand who likes what truck. And he was in a straight drive or a manual transmission truck, and that seemed to be his preference. Ever since he had started working with us, that was the truck that he picked. And then all of a sudden he switched over to my truck, which is an automatic. And there are four automatics on the yard total. But he consistently picks mine after chewing me out and telling me that I act like I'm the only one that can drive it. Well, he has conveniently made it his only vehicle. Bit hypocritical there. I feel like it's personal, but anyway, that's enough of my rant. I'm sure that that's very petty to a lot of people and a lot of things, like Milton's Swinline stapler, for anybody that's seen Office Space. But that truck is definitely my stapler. Let's see here. Yeah, I can't really think of a whole lot. You know, it came to my attention that people wanted to know when I was going to make another video. My son and a buddy of mine mentioned it within the same week. So I figured, why not hop back on the horse, share some more of my thoughts, and see where it takes me, see what topics I go down. Maybe on the drive home, I'll talk about my business idea and philosophies, because I don't have a lot of time to get into it for the ride to work. But I am definitely trying to turn the business for what it is on its head, like the way that people go about doing things, the way businesses pay their employees, the way that employees feel appreciated or valued or whatever. So like I said, I have a fair amount of opinions and topics and stuff that I really would like to share, and maybe make it a culture shift. I don't think it's really going to happen on a massive scale, because we've lost a lot of these sentiments. They're like from the 50s or 40s or whatever. They're before my time anyway, and they say that we have a bad workforce, we have a bad work ethic or whatever, and there's a fair amount to it being our fault, but there's a fair amount to it being their fault and the way that they've treated our parents. And we've witnessed it, our parents, our grandparents, friends, and we just decided that we're not going to be taken advantage of in the same way. You know, we'd probably still get taken advantage of, but anyway, I'll save that for the video ride home maybe, or the ride in the next time. I don't know. Well, thanks for stopping by. I am about out of stuff, so I don't want to ramble because I don't have anything to fill the small gap, and I definitely don't want to take up or try and cut out too much of that long-winded topic. So until next time, guys, be safe.